The latest batch of Epstein documents released by the Justice Department Friday yet again showcases the numerous powerful people in the late sex offender's orbit. As the New York Times puts it, quote, the documents show how Jeffrey Epstein's connections with elites in Hollywood, Wall Street, Washington, and fashion thrived even after he became a convicted sex offender in 2008. At this time, there is no evidence of any criminal wrongdoing by any of those mentioned. There is, however, compromised timelines of their association with the disgraced pedophile. Take Elon Musk. An email from November 2012 shows a conversation where Musk asked Epstein, quote, what day night will be the wildest party on your island? The emails do not say whether Musk ultimately visited the island and do not indicate any wrongdoing by Musk, and Musk is also denied going to the island. And then there's Steve Bannon, Trump's former White House strategist, who apparently has been sitting on hours of unseen footage with Epstein, footage that Epstein's brother has been trying to obtain. And for the first time, we get to see some of that footage, including what appears to be Steve Bannon interviewing Epstein. It was part of the DOJ's latest Epstein batch. Take a look.
I'm in a privileged position to have some of the world's smartest people come to my house and tell me what they think about different subjects. And I finally realized that the thing that they had most in common was there was this area, no matter how smart they were, that when I asked them the questions, they said they'd have to resort to a 500 or 1,000-year-old response to that question, which was, I don't know.
You know who else found that out? Socrates. That's what Socrates kept doing, right? Socrates kept asking all the experts.
Molly Jong-Fast and Maria I know, right?
Let's ask our experts. Our experts.
Okay, so Molly and Maria are back with us. Yeah. I watched some of it last night, and you're just like, ew, like you could not be kissing up to Jeffrey Epstein anymore, Steve Bannon. But Maria, let's go to you for the big picture. Do you think that the damage from the Epstein files and the fallout, Trump's weathered it, it's pretty much moving on from that, the base, or do you think this still is a lingering issue that could cause him some political pain?
You know, the truth is I feel like I don't know. I feel like with all things Trump, it's hard to really know how much this actually sticks with him. I mean, clearly he leaned into this issue because, you know, an element of his base, his supporters were concerned about this, really not, I don't think, because of any political affinity, but because this was about powerful people who seemed to be getting away with things that regular Americans would not, right? One set of rules for the most powerful elite and another for, you know, your average American. And now that the actual substance of this is coming out, you know, I'm not sure that Trump just kind of gets lumped in with everyone else. But at the same time, I'm also curious, as we've kind of seen this play out in other areas, does it change sort of enthusiasm, right, among the base when we look at turnout this year? Because, again, I don't think this is a group of folks who are going to suddenly change who they support for. They certainly have come up with a million excuses as to why to excuse anything else Donald Trump's done that they may disagree with or have issue with. But I don't know, it remains, I'm curious to see how that plays out from an enthusiasm level.
Molly, I want to ask you about something that Mike Johnson, the speaker, said on Meet the Press. Can we play that?
Do you have any outstanding questions, given that, about the relationship between President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein?
I do not. I mean, I've spoken to the president about this privately and personally many times, and he's spoken very candidly and openly to the public.
The world's most incurious man right there.
He doesn't know about anything. He doesn't see anything. He doesn't see the tweets. He doesn't see the posts. He doesn't see the comments.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think this plays with voters?
Speaker Johnson is going to take Donald Trump at his word, because why wouldn't you take Donald Trump at his word? Right, exactly. He's long been a truth teller, really. No, again, like, I think it's important to pull back. We talk so much about politics, but these are probably the largest sex trafficker in American history. I mean, women, thousands, more than 1,000. I mean, there are so many women who have been ensnared in this. And by the way, women is really a misnomer. Children.
Girls.
And you read, I mean,
so many men who transgress this.
Right. And we had Kash Patel saying that the only person Jeffrey Epstein trafficked these children to was himself. which is clearly not true. So, and again, you could say, what was the definition of trafficking? Like, is there? But it's just a ridiculous semantic argument. So what I would say is, like, pull back. This is the worst thing that people could ever do, right? Trafficking children. And so I think it's good that the base is concerned about it. Remember, QAnon is based on this very idea that there's a cabal of powerful people trafficking children. I hope there's greater accountability. I think there will be hearings, I'm pretty sure, and I think that is needed. The way they dumped this was such a disservice to the victims because, you know, they dumped lists of allegations with actual emails. And it muddied the water on everything. And I think there should be a special...
They also accidentally revealed identifying information.
And photos, driver's license photos.
One of the patterns that has emerged here is that men, these powerful men, will come out and say, deny, but then somehow their names will pop up in these emails. And there was this kind of like very weird moment with Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary. I want to play this for you. Take a listen to how he responded when he was asked about any kind of interactions with Jeffrey Epstein.
I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me. Ooh. And he says, and the right kind of massage. Ooh. Now, my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
What a story.
What a story and what a storyteller. Howard Lutnick. I mean, joking aside, but there's a pattern here, right? And Howard Lutnick, you know, he no evidence of any wrongdoing.
Except the email.
Yeah, well, I was just about to go to that and say, but he's in the emails, and he's mentioned in the emails, and there's communications going as far back as 2018. And why does this seem to be a pattern?
We're talking about the heated sidewalk that separated them, surely.
And also the donation, a $50,000 donation in his name.
Yeah, and he doesn't mention it. He's not candid about it. And it just makes you, again, get to the point of there are so many more questions. And it just is apparent that when you are talking in that manner and then more emails come out, that something is not...
Well, the thing that's so bizarre to me about all of this is that interview clip that we just played was from October of last year.
Right.
Yeah. When he knew this stuff might come out, which just shows you how hubristic they are, or maybe they thought that the DOJ was going to cover for, maybe he thought the DOJ
he was off. He was going to get away with it.
Yes. Yeah. Why would you say something like that in public when you know the smoking gun is right there?
Well, today we saw Elon Musk has spent the entire day tweeting.
But isn't that exactly the point, though, that the MAGA base is so upset that elites have always gotten away with it, and they expect to get away with it again, so they don't care. And then that's what's actually hurt Trump.
I think the MAGA base thought it was going to be not this group of...
They thought it was all going to be...
Yeah, exactly. That's what they thought. They thought it was going to be the Clintons, and then it turned out to be the calls coming from inside the House.
Right.
It's Donald Trump,
it's
Howard Lutnick, it's Elon Musk, it's the leaders of MAGA.
I have at times I've managed to still feel surprised, and I don't feel surprised by much lately, but last several years really. but there are a lot of Trump administration officials and friends in there. Just a lot them.
And there are some Democrats.
No, absolutely.
There's also world leaders and international businessmen.
I thought there would be a lot more balance in
there. And Aaron's not going to like this very much, but one administration that doesn't show up is George W. Bush administration.
Wait, why would I not like that?
I know you're not such a fan of that.
Are you talking about all the tweets about Dick Cheney today?
But I never for a second thought that would be anything that remotely would ensnare that administration just because of the way it was, and it's such a bygone era.
Maria Camella, that you want to bring back?
I know our MSNL
Imagine that you want to bring back Dick Cheney and Don Rumsfeld and Condoleezza Rice.
I think it's time for a commercial break.
Yeah.
Get the commercial,
the morally pure era.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Maria Camella, thank you so much for joining us. Molly, you are sticking around.